Today we will be continuing part 12 of this manhwa. Why does this martial arts hall fight every day? Several ants in their 40s and 50s, carrying vegetable baskets in their hands, stood not far from the gate of the martial arts hall and whispered, talking non-stop. Suddenly, a voice interrupted. Auntie, has this martial arts hall been like this recently? The ants were stunned for a moment, then subconsciously replied. That's right, it was like this half a month ago. Every day people come up to kick the gym, one after another, and both sides injured a lot of people. I heard that the owner of the martial arts gym. They're all hurt. Luching frowned and asked. Do you know why? An ant quickly said. I know this. It seems that this martial arts hall borrowed the name of a martial arts genius, recruited a lot of students, and robbed other martial arts halls of business. Other martial arts halls were angry, so they joined hands. Come and fix it. It is estimated that it will be destroyed in a few days. The signboard has been broken several times in the past half-month. Luching dragged his suitcase and stepped into the door of Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall. The scene inside the door is even worse than outside. The entire front desk of the martial arts hall has been kicked over and smashed to the ground. There was a large group of people around the lobby of the martial arts hall, and it seemed that two sides were confronting each other. Luching saw that there were still faint bloodstains left on the ground and some places on the wall, and it seemed that someone had already fought there. The two gangs stood facing each other in the lobby of the martial arts hall, and all the equipment and furniture originally placed in the lobby were roughly pushed aside. One of them was wearing a bright red martial arts uniform with a big Chuan printed on the back. The group of people stood in the lobby with a man in front of them. The middle-aged man was on his knees. Judging from the appearance and momentum, it should be Anai Hongchuan, the real owner of the Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall. The man in the black martial arts uniform is nearly 2 meters tall, with a slender inch and dark skin, and the muscles on his body are lumpy like a rock. The people in the dark blue martial arts uniform were vaguely headed by him. Hearing Anai Hongchuan's words, he grinned, revealing a set of white and neat teeth. Master and I, today we don't talk about business, we only talk about martial arts. We, Taizan Martial Arts Center, came to your Hongchuan Martial Arts Center on purpose today to ask you for advice. Lin Taizan, you're still a 4th-level martial artist. You took advantage of my father's injury and came up to play in the gym. Do you want to show your face? Anai Hongchuan hadn't spoken yet, but Anai Shuang, who was beside him, was already scolding. Lin Taizan, aren't you going too far? My Hongchuan Martial Arts Academy has promised not to recruit students within a year. What else do you want? Anai Hongchuan stared at a man in a black martial arts uniform opposite and spoke in a deep voice. Anai Hongchuan seemed to be seriously injured at the moment. His face and lips were slightly pale, and from time to time he stretched out his hand to cover his chest. A woman was standing beside Anai Hongchuan. The woman was Anai Shuang, whom Luching knew. Lin Taizan laughed and said, Your words are really interesting. Whether it is possible to kick the gym in the martial arts class depends on the day. Your father Anai Hongchuan's injury is his business, and it is mine that I come to kick the gym. Since you Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall dare to hang up the signboard, you must be ready to be smashed at any time. As he said that, Lin Taizan released an aura, causing a group of people in Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall to change their expressions, and they stepped back a few steps. Anai Hongchuan stood up abruptly, and an unnatural flush quickly appeared on his face. He looked like water, nodded slowly, and said, You are right, since the signboard is on, you must be able to keep it. I, Anai Hongchuan, came to Baiha City 20 years ago. I was alone and built this foundation with a pair of fists. It was possible then, and it's the same now. He was already injured, but this time it even affected the injury, and he coughed violently. Dad! Seeing this, Anai Shuang quickly reached out to support him, her face full of worry. I am fine. Anai Hongchuan reached out to block her hands and shook his head to indicate that he was fine. Lin Taizan, who was on the side, laughed when he saw this, and said coldly, Since you don't have the skills, don't brag about it. A 17-year-old second-level warrior? Heh, Is that a student you can teach an I Hongjuan? It is also well deserved to be maimed and crippled. I said long ago that Luching is not my dad's student, he is just a member of ours. And I Shuang tried to explain. Lin Taizan waved his hand and said indifferently, I don't care about that. All I know is that you robbed more than half of the business of several of our martial arts gyms under the name of that kid named Luching. Don't blame us for chopping your claws if you dare to stick your claws into our pockets. It was your students who quit your academy on their accord. Who are you blaming? And I Shuang gritted her teeth in anger and said, I know, that's why we decided to tear down the signboard of your Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall. Your martial arts hall collapsed and the students have nowhere to go, so they will naturally come back. Lin Taizan clapped his hands and said, Okay, enough nonsense to talk about. Hurry up and send someone up. I clean all of you up together, and you will go to the Wushu Association today to cancel the martial arts hall. There was grief and anger on the faces of the people here at Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall. Since half a month ago, people have come to play in the hall almost every day. It was fine at first, and everyone could handle it. But then it became more and more intense, and the owners of other martial arts halls brought people up in person. And I Hongwan played a few games in person, and also suffered a lot of injuries, and was almost unable to fight again. Now there is another 4th-level martial artist-level pavilion owner who comes to kick the pavilion, and their Hongchuan martial arts pavilion may be forced to cancel and close the pavilion. I'll fight you! And I Shuang gritted her teeth and walked out directly. Lin Tiashan's expression changed, and he said lustfully, Then I will be crushing this little flower. And I Hongchuan's expression changed, and he hurriedly said, And I Shuang, come back. You are only 3rd level, and you are not his opponent. There's no chance. Lin Taizan has a lot of skills in horizontal training. He's still a 4th-level martial artist. If I wasn't injured, only I can fight against him. And I Shuang shook his head and said with a firm face, Dad, I caused this matter, and I should be responsible. Don't worry, the big deal is an injury. It's hard for him to dare to kill me. Lin Tiashan's voice came. How long are you guys gonna talk? If you drag it any longer, the Wushu Association will be closed. Do you have to let us run again tomorrow? And I Shuang glared at him and said coldly, I'll beat you down later. I want you to carry the signboard of our Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall to parade through the streets. Lin Taizan smiled slightly, and a cold light flashed from his eyes. The little girl with sharp teeth and sharp mouth is annoying. The next second, Lin Taizan took a step forward, and in an instant, his whole body seemed to swell slightly. The muscles all over the body were bulging, and the skin was glowing with a faint iron luster. A mountain-like momentum rolled towards An I Shuang. Lin Tiashan's figure suddenly disappeared. He was too fast for An I Shuang to notice. She was startled. In an instant, Lai Taizan appeared in front of An I Shuang. She was already stunned, and in front of a huge power gap between them, An I Shuang stood there dazedly. At the moment, Lai Taizan was about to strike An I Shuang. Someone shouted her name. Immediately afterward, the two figures collided fiercely. Someone blocked the strike. It was An I Hongchuan who took the strike to save her daughter. An I Shuang could not do anything but watch. A figure suddenly flew 7 or 8 meters into a wall, revealing the slightly pale face of the old man. Father! An I Hongchuan, you are trash. You were not even able to take one punch from me. Lai Taizan smirked and said. An I Hongchuan had a solemn expression and slowly frowned. It turned out to be hiding such a hand. Lin Taizan, have you broken through the 5th level? Lin Taizan grinned and said. It's still a little bit short, but my Taizan's strength has already reached its peak. And I Hongjuan, you shriveled tortoise, you can't compare yourself and sent 2 little dolls to die. Then I will fulfill you. Lin Tiashan's powerful terror was so overwhelming that everyone could hardly breathe. Anyone else? Lin Taizan twisted his neck and glanced at the crowd in Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall with a smile. Anyone who was swept by his eyes lowered their heads in fear, and no one dared to look at them. That is enough. An I Hongchuan's chest heaved violently, stood up slowly, and said word by word. Don't you just want our Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall to close? Okay, I will fulfill your wish. I will go to the Wushu Association to cancel the Martial Arts Hall. Qualifications. And I Hongchuan said this sentence. The whole person seemed to be 10 years old in an instant, and even his back was hunched. And I Shuang's eyes suddenly turned red, and the self-blame and guilt in her heart surged like a tide. Everyone in the Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall was downcast and looked desolate. Seeing that his goal had been achieved, Lin Taizan said with a smile, I still believe in the character of Master and since that's the case, I'll bring everyone back first. At this moment, a voice suddenly came from the crowd. Hold up, you guys! Everyone was stunned and looked subconsciously. They saw a well-proportioned, tall, fair-skinned, handsome young man walking out. It's a perfect martial art. If it's closed, where can I go to exercise in the future? The young man glanced at Anai Hongchuan and said lightly. Anai Hongchuan looked shocked and did not speak. Anai Shuang recognized the youth's identity at a glance, and said in surprise, Luching? Luching nodded and waved at Anai Shuang and said, It's been a while, Miss Shuang. In an instant, everyone's eyes converged on Luching with strange eyes. So he is Luching! It was he who caused our martial arts hall to be reduced to this point. Everyone shut up. Lin Tizhan walked towards Luching and said. The people at the Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall became agitated, and there was a lot of discussions. Many people glared at Luching and seemed to blame him for everything in front of them. Lin Tiashan's eyes lit up, looked Luching up and down, and said, So you are that genius, Luching? Not bad indeed, you are arrogant and talented. Is Brother Lu worried that there will be no place to practice after the closure of Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall? Don't worry, our Taizan Martial Arts Academy welcomes you at any time. Lin Taizan pointed at Anai Hongchuan and the short and thin young man on the ground and said with a smile. You have seen it, the Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall is full of rubbish, the martial arts head can't even take one punch from me. What can this martial arts hall teach you? Come to our Taizan Martial Arts Hall, I can personally teach you Taizan secret skills, never hide your secrets. Iron Mountain secret skill? Luching seemed to be a little interested. Seeing this, Lin Taizhan hurriedly hit the iron while it was hot. Tieshan's secret technique is a practice technique that is not taught in our Taizan Martial Arts Hall. I'm not bragging. Lin Taizhan patted his chest and boasted confidently. Within the same level, there are not many who can break my defense. And I Hongchuan can't, and neither can others. And I Hongchuan's face was a little ugly, but he was powerless to refute it. Are you willing to teach me such a powerful technique? Luching said lightly. Lin Taizhan felt that Luching seemed to be a little moved, and his smile was even bigger, and he said quickly, Of course, I am willing, as long as you join our Taizan Martial Arts Academy and worship me Lin Taizhan as your master, I will teach you all. Luching took 2 steps forward, looked at Lin Taizhan calmly, and said casually, Then how are you going to teach me? Lin Taizhan frowned, secretly asking why this kid is doing so much shit, but considering the identity of the other party, he still said patiently, If you come, I will. Lin Taizhan hasn't finished speaking yet. Suddenly, Luching suddenly disappeared in front of him. Immediately afterward, a terrifying aura like a volcanic eruption swept through the sky. Lin Tiashan's scalp was numb in an instant, his whole body was standing upright, and a great sense of life and death crisis poured out from the bottom of his heart. He shouted wildly, the muscles all over his body blackened and swelled, his whole body suddenly swelled in a circle, and then he pushed his palms forward fiercely. Impressive, it is indeed really tough. Suddenly, he heard Luching's voice. Immediately after, a white flesh fist easily swayed his palms, drove straight in, and imprinted on his chest destructively. Crack knock. The sound of bones breaking. Boom! The terrifying power contained in his fist burst out, and Lin Tiashan's body flew out like a mountain. Smashed the crowd and flew to the side wall of the entrance to the martial arts hall. Smashed a big hole in the wall, deeply embedded in the wall. The crisp footsteps sounded in the quiet lobby. Luching walked step by step, his attitude was casual, and his expression was indifferent. He stopped in front of Lin Taizan, whose face was full of pain, shock, and fear. He looked down and said lightly, "How are you going to teach me? Do you teach me on your knees?" At this moment, the entire martial arts hall. It was silent, deadly still. Everyone stared blankly at the scene in front of them, in a trance, like a dream. Enai Shuang's beautiful eyes were round and wide, and her mouth was wide enough to fit a duck egg. "Lin Taizan, lost. It seems that the Taizan secret technique that you blew into the sky doesn't seem to be very good." Luching shook his head and stopped looking at Lin Taizan. "A 4th-level martial artist, he is a master of horizontal training. Invincible, tyrannical, and unparalleled, Lin Taizan is like a devil. He was punched by Luching. He slammed into the wall abruptly. 17 years old, high school student, 5th-level warrior." These words are connected, and everyone only feels that their scalps are numb, and their bodies can't stop shaking violently. The people from Lai Taizan Martial Hall picked him up and said as they went away, "Just you wait, kid, what will happen to you?" Luching walked up to Enai Shuang. Luching offered her help and said, "Are you guys alright?" Enai Shuang was love-stricken by Luching's personality and his previous actions. She replied, "Thanks, we both are fine." Luching said lightly to Enai Hongchuan, "Don't let the martial arts hall close, otherwise I have to find another one so close to home. It will be very troublesome." Enai Hongchuan stood up from the chair with a swoosh, his face full of excitement. We won't. Thank you so much, and please tell us if there is anything you need. It's nothing much, anyways it all happened because of me. However, I will only be helping out this once. If something like this were to happen again, you will have to protect your martial hall yourself. As you know, martial power is the law of the jungle in this world." Luching replied to Enai Hongchuan. Luching turned away to leave. A look of awe and shock watched him from behind. Luching has no special feelings for Hongchuan Martial Arts Academy. This shot is mainly because he became an honorary member of Enai Shuang. To think that a martial that is almost rank 5 and mastered strengthening arts would be rendered to that state by a single blow from Luching. He is really scary. Enai Hongchuan was in awe of Luching's talent and strength. He could not believe his eyes. 3 months ago, Luching was just a rank 2, just what on earth is his level now? Enai Shuang wondered as she watched Luching's back. Later at night, Luching reached his old apartment. As he opened the door, his mother Jing Yufan was standing in front and inquired, "Why are you so late? Wasn't you going to arrive in the morning? I cooked a table of dishes at noon for you, but it's useless now." Luching called home before he came back. "Oh, I went to the Martial Arts Association and met President Xiao for something. On the way back, I saw a group of people bullying a few old, weak, sick, and disabled people, so I helped out. That is why I got delayed." Luching explained a little apologetically. Jing Yufan's expression changed immediately upon hearing this, and she looked at Luching up and down. "Fight with someone? Are you injured? Let me take a good look." "I'm not injured. Mom, you underestimate me too much. Anyway, I'm also an official martial artist now. I even went to a training camp and became more powerful. How could a few gangsters hurt me?" Luching stretched out a finger to lift the suitcase and move it up and down easily, showing that he is very strong now. Because of Luching's return, this small family was once again complete, and the whole family was quite happy. Lu Dehai even had 2 drinks during dinner. "Your son is now an official martial artist. I am sure he is fine," Lu Dehai said. Hearing that Luching had taught a few gangsters a lesson on the way back, Lu Dehai flushed with joy. Practice martial arts should be like this. When the road is not smooth, you should face the strong and help the weak. When it's time to make a move. Otherwise, why do you still practice martial arts? Just find an office building to work. Boy, it's a big deal to get a little bit of blood. In the future, my son Luching will go to the battlefield to kill alien beasts and protect the family and the country. Big brother, what was the meat you sent back? Dad's health has improved a lot, and even my vitality has risen to 1.1. That meat is even more effective than several tonics. You didn't steal them from the training camp, did you? Luching came close to Luching and said. She was confused as to how his brother can get all those expensive materials that are hard to get even for those high-class families. Hey, who do you think your brother is? Don't worry, I earned all of it. Luching pinched her sister and said. Later, Sheng Yufan brought a huge bowl of rice for Luching and said, Sheng, was the training camp tough? Don't push yourself too hard. It's more important that you are safe and well. What do you know? From the side, Lu Dehai interrupted and said, Sheng, I could tell that you have your own goals. You will become an incredible person. Even if you fail, we will always be here for you. Luching looked at this scene, and his eyebrows gradually softened. Luching felt happy hearing these words from his father. I know that, Dad. That is right, for these happy days to continue. I have to keep getting stronger and stronger, to the point that I can face all disasters. Luching thought to himself. He has a big heart, and has a lot to do. But so far, this home is all he wants to protect. At night, Luching sat quietly on the yoga mat in the middle of the room. Mental power slowly circulated in my mind, bringing a sense of coolness. Soon, Luching entered a dream. On the dilapidated street, Luching's figure appeared quietly. Luching had a calm expression on his face as he strolled down the desolate street. He started walking towards the center of the city. A wandering figure appeared in front of Luching. The tall zombie roared and burst into a cloud of dust, and a thick black line of smoke came out. Luching's expression was calm, and the powerful spiritual power belonging to the third-level spiritual master came out. Those zombies who tried to get close to him were thrown out instantly like straws uprooted under a tornado. Zombies weathered in the air, turned into black lines of smoke, and returned to Luching. I can now take out rank 6 zombies with just one punch. Luching spoke. With his current strength, this zombie, who was a 6th-level warrior in his lifetime, can be solved with just one punch. Luching kept moving forward, gradually going deeper into the city. He finally reached the command center of the base. Luching thought to himself, saying, The zombie with the terrifying aura I saw back then was here. I wonder if I can handle it now. A lot of thoughts rose in his heart. For now, let's just go in to take a look at the situation. Luching was deep in his thoughts when he noticed a figure standing in the command center. Suddenly, a thin figure fell in front of Luching. Large cracks appeared on the hard street floor under the silhouette's feet. Luching's pupils shrank and stopped abruptly. Luching looked at the uninvited guest in front of him who was attracted by him, stretched out his hand and rubbed his swollen temple, and grinned. It was the Grandmaster-level zombie that Luching saw back then, the pressure of which made him tremble and fall to his knees in the past. That's all for today. If you like the next part of this manhwa, just comment below. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment for getting epic content on this channel. See you next time.